a face-to-face interview for 11 to 14 minutes. The grader who asks you a question is also going to decide your score, the interviewer cum grader. Now, this interviewer will focus on 4 scoring parameters. First one is oral fluency. 25% weightage is given to that. The second scoring parameter is lexical resource. Again, 25% weightage is given to that. The third scoring parameter is pronunciation. And the fourth one is grammatical range and accuracy. So today, let us understand about pronunciation. Of course, it is a vast topic, a huge topic for sure. And I'm sure you have watched my last video. In last week's video, I discussed about enunciation. Now, so yes, very often our students do ask us this question. Is it like this that the grader will deduct score if there is even one pronunciation error? Now, our answer to this question will always be, first and foremost, do not let this kind of questions affect your psyche on the day of the examination. If we always keep on asking ourselves, what if this mistake is there, that mistake is there, then on the day of the examination, we cannot be ourselves, cannot relax and face the interview with confidence. So my advice will be, get rid of all kinds of negative emotions. Face the interviewer with confidence. You have to be a natural speaker of English. Now, what is meant by natural speaker of English? You have to maintain a pace which is neither too fast nor too slow. The pace that you maintain while you speak in your mother tongue. If you're able to maintain the same pace while you speak in English, that is known as being a natural speaker of English. Now, coming back to this topic of today, that is pronunciation. The good news is that it's not that the graders are going to deduct score if there is 1 or 2 pronunciation errors. Few pronunciation errors will always be ignored. However, if the pronunciation error happens to be such that it impedes communication, then that is definitely going to have a huge impact on the score. Now, what do I mean by this? Pronunciation error impeding communication? Let me explain with an example, and this example again is a very funny example. You will remember that for good. So say for example, somebody wanted to say thanks and same to you. Now instead of saying same to you, what if the person says thanks and shame to you? Can you imagine? The person wanted to say same, and instead of same, he is saying shame. Now, such kind of pronunciation error will definitely have a huge impact because the intended meaning has been changed, right? Maybe one more example to make things clearer. Let us consider the word content, C-O-N-T-E-N-T. This is the spelling of the word, and let us focus on the sound. The same word can be said as content or content. Now, when you say content, what do you mean? To be happy, right? Content means happy, sated, satisfied. Content, on the other hand, means subject matter. So, if somebody ends up saying content when he or she actually wanted to mean content, a state of mind, and vice versa, that is definitely a pronunciation error which is impeding communication. Let us consider this sentence. I am content with the content of the course. So in this case, was there any pronunciation error? No. Your listener has understood what you want to say, what you want to convey. I am content as in happy or sated with the content as in subject matter of the course. Now, if someone ends up reversing, so he or she is supplanting the first content with content and vice versa. As in, he's saying, I'm content with the content of the course. What is he saying? I'm content with the content of the course. Now, the listener will understand that this is a pronunciation error. So, I'm content, I'm subject matter with the content satisfied. That doesn't make sense. So, it is a clear case of pronunciation error which has impeded communication, which has changed the meaning of what he or she wanted to convey. So, such kind of errors will definitely affect the score. So, focus on the sound of any word, content versus content. So, always make it a point to focus on sound of the words. Now, I have a tip for you. When you are practicing at home, I would say that instead of reading aloud a word, you should, watch more and more of English movies and listen to English music and try to imitate the pronunciation of the native speaker. Okay, you say a word and record what you have said. Listen to your recording and see whether the pronunciation had been correct. So, this is how we have to focus on the sound of words and practice at home. And yes, as I told you, do not always be very, very cautious about this, that what if I make pronunciation errors? Face the interviewer with confidence. Few errors would be ignored until and unless the pronunciation error is such that it changes meaning. And one more thing which I would like to share with you is mother tongue influence will never have any impact upon your score. We don't need to have any put on accent to impress the grader. So be yourself. Face the interviewer with confidence. Try to be a natural speaker of English and choose your words very, very intelligently. We should never ever try to say a word if you're not sure about the pronunciation of the word. We know that when it comes to vocabulary, a few uncommon words being used will always fetch a better score. But would you say that uncommon word if you're not sure about the pronunciation? No, don't do that. Because maybe you are aware of the spelling of the word, but you're not aware of the pronunciation of the word. That will affect the score. So be careful. Okay, so all the best, practice well, listen to words and sentences said by you, listen to your own recording. That really helps you. And yes, keep watching English movies, keep listening to English music, that too help. So all the best for your IELTS examination. See you next week with another video. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.